Good morning. Thanks everybody for coming to the Fire Emergency and Protective Services Committee this Tuesday, December 12th, and it's 10:03. We'll start with the land acknowledgement. As we gather, we would like to acknowledge on behalf of Council and our community that we are meeting on the traditional territory of the Algonquin people. We'd like to thank the Algonquin people and express our respect and support for their rich history. And we are extremely grateful for their many and continued displays of friendship. We also thank all the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years. Clerk Everett for roll call, please.
Chair McWhirter.
Here.
Councillor McDonald.
Here.
Councillor Zawalski.
Present.
Chair McWhirter, we have quorum.
Any declaration of interest? Having seen none, we can move on to presentations, delegations, and announcements. The first presentation will be Renfrew Fire Department monthly update, and that will be chief guest.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So we can review the monthly report for the month of November 2023. So firstly, we'll look at the annual comparison, comparing November of 2023 to the previous year. Total calls for the month, as you can see in red, are 16 compared to 20 from the previous year. Medical calls, we had a few more medical calls. We had 4 this year compared to 2 last year. Fire alarm activations were very similar, 5 this year compared to 4 last year. And MVCs, we had 2 in the month of November compared to 4 in the previous year. Monthly training. So in the month of November, our volunteer firefighting crews focused on PPE, which is personal protective equipment, and self-contained breathing apparatus. So topics such as the components, proper care and maintenance, and emergency operating procedures were part of the practical evolutions. Our full-time firefighters conducted training evolutions with the new portable pump that we purchased. Time was spent to ensure both proficiency and familiarization with the operations of that new unit. Some of our staff are also working on fire prevention courses through the online portal of the Ontario Fire College, and our newer members are focusing on their curriculum for their classification exams. Moving forward to public education, in the month of November, most of the county is away hunting, so we thought we'd focus on hunt camp safety. And it's just important to note that a lot of the safety standards that are in your home are also necessary in hunt camps. So having working smoke alarms and working CO alarms are critical, and that includes buses and campers, basically anywhere you would be sleeping. Public education. So having a public education program with respect to fire safety and fire prevention is an important aspect of all departments, and most certainly the Renfrew Fire Department operations. So as such, our firefighters do conduct visits to residents in the town with the goal of ensuring our citizens have working smoke alarms and carbon monoxide alarms. We also take this opportunity to provide public education with respect to fire safety initiatives such as safe cooking practices and home escape planning. So far in 2023, our firefighters have visited over 700 homes, and this program has been well received by residents and provides invaluable life safety elements to our community. Public relations. So as everyone knows, we had a coloring contest as part of initiatives to promote our fire prevention activities, and you'll see in the photos those are our 2 winners. We would have liked to have seen a few more a few more coloring contest editions, but we did get quite a few, so it's a new initiative for us, and it's nice to see. Notable responses. The Renfrew Fire Department responded to Admast and Bromley for a reported stump pond fire. Of course, this was a minor incident, and crews quickly had the fire under control. Crews were requested for a fire alarm activation at a hotel in Renfrew. While en route, the responding firefighters were updated with additional information from scene, reporting that an occupant had actually pulled the fire alarm system because there was a medical emergency. And lastly, Renfrew Fire responded to multiple MVCs in the town of Renfrew in the month. Crews were requested for a 2-vehicle MVC on Stewart Street. Upon arrival, the officer conducted the 360 and tended to one patient with back and neck pain. Crews also contained leaking fluids from one of the damaged vehicles. If there's any questions regarding this, I'd be happy to answer them.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Through you to the Chief. On the second slide, third one from the bottom, the fire alarm activation. Could you just expand on that, please? Is this like through a third-party alarm company, or are these physically, someone's pulled a fire alarm? Yeah, right there, third one from the bottom. Or if you don't have that, you can get back to me later.
No,
There's a reason why, and I'll talk to the CAO about it later on, but go ahead.
Through you, Mr. Chair. So that building does have a fire alarm system, and it is monitored by a third-party agency. So when you pull a pull station, it activates the fire alarm, it goes through to the monitoring agency, and then further to us. Does that answer your question?
Thank you. Yes, and CAO, I'll talk to you after with regard to a concept I have or an idea. Thank you.
Any more questions? Go ahead.
Just quickly through you, Chair, to Chief Guest, the new portable fire pump. I may have had the information given me, but can you give me just the ABCs of what that's doing for us and its advantage?
Through you, Mr. Chair. That's a great question. So we've always had a portable fire pump. It was aging. It was probably from 1980s, and it's big and bulky. So with the increase in walking trails in the town of Renfrew, we have Mattaway Park, and we also first response to Admaston and Brawley Township. So we thought it was critical to have both update that pump and have something that's more efficient and more portable. It's basically a small Honda engine. It's, you know, very light. It's 20 pounds, so you can take it off the truck. It comes with forestry hose, so everything is portable. If you have to walk a distance from the truck, then that's where that comes in handy. You can use it in creeks. You can use it in pools. Basically, any water supply source that we have.
Great, thank you.
Nothing further? We'll move on to the next item C2, presentation for MLES, which is our contracted bylaw enforcement monthly update. And again, that will be Chief Guest.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. So again, this is the monthly report for bylaw services for the month of November. So the monthly comparison, if we look at tickets, tickets were down quite a bit compared to the previous year. So we had 42 tickets issued, and last year we had 78 in the same month. Property standards, very comparable to last year, 13 in that month, and the previous year we had 15. Parking issues, we had 14, and the previous year we had 18. Cat and dog calls were very similar to the previous year. And if we move up to the next slide, we can look at a yearly comparison to date. Clean yard calls, so far we've had 193, and last year up to this point we had 265. Tickets issued, 509 in 2023 and 556 in the previous year. Property standards calls are down a little bit from the previous year, 273 compared to 383 of the previous year. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
No questions? Seeing none, we'll move on to reports. D 1.1, I need a mover. Councillor McDonald, thank you. That'll go to Mike, Chief Guest, sorry.
Oh, read the motion, sorry.
Sorry, read the motion first. That the Fire, Emergency and Protective Services Committee recommend that Renfrew Town Council approve the volunteer firefighter compensation policy and further accept the volunteer firefighter job description as information. Moved by Councillor McDonald, thank you. And I'll turn this over to Chief Guest.
Thank you, through Mr. Chair. So this is basically to update a volunteer firefighter compensation policy. So background, the town has recently undergone organizational review, and with that review, the policies and procedures were examined across several departments. It has been determined that the town's volunteer firefighter compensation practices did require updating. As such, staff has worked diligently to update a few different aspects. Staff have prepared a draft policy and a job description for volunteer firefighters, which is to be reviewed by committee and council. Staff are recommending that the volunteer firefighter position be placed on the non-union salary grid at a group 4 and be paid quarterly. Currently, they are being paid once per year. This policy also indicates that compensation will be in accordance with the Income Tax Act. To ensure that the role meets the needs of the organization, staff have also developed a job description for volunteer firefighters. This is a skilled position, as everyone knows, entailing firefighting, rescue, and other related emergency services. It requires active and frequent participation in training evolutions, continual learning, as well as emergency response. The job description outlines the qualifications, responsibilities, and attendance requirements for our volunteer firefighters. Thank you.
Any questions between Councillor Cebulski?
Thank you, through you, Chair. The language saying that they're paid once annually be changed to quarterly, is that saying the volunteers only get paid once a year currently? So they could work an entire year and get one check? Is that how I'm understanding that?
Currently, that was the process. It was once per year. They would get paid usually second week of December.
Okay. Follow-up, just do you feel this will be received better now with the volunteers to have more frequent pay coming in and better volunteer showing?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I think it's probably mixed reviews. Half enjoy to have the lump sum prior to Christmas, and others may want to have it quarterly to be more regimented.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions? All in favor? So we'll move on to communications and petitions. McNabb Braeside support request, MHSRC hoarding program. Again, chief guest.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. So this is just a resolution basically to show support for resolution that the town of Arnprior had initiated, and it's to show continued support for the mental health services of Renfrew County, and in hopes that the funding is continued to support this program. It is very important. I've spoken with the chief with the town of Arnprior, and they do utilize it. We have used it in the past. Not this year, but they do offer an amazing services. As you know, with the hoarding issues that are in every community, there's different avenues that you have to follow to ensure compliance, and it's nice to have the professional resources there to reach out to. Thank you.
Any questions? Having seen none, we'll move on to E2, Municipality of Wawa, support request for Bill C-310 firefighter tax credit. Again, chief guest.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. So this is another resolution, and it is regarding a proposed change to how our volunteer firefighters are paid across the province, and it's basically to change the way and the amount of tax that they can claim in a year. And it's again, recruitment and retention in volunteer services is very difficult. So what this does is it increases their allowable tax increase per year. So currently, it allows volunteer firefighters to claim a $3,000 tax credit if 200 hours of volunteer service were completed in the calendar year. And it is in hopes that the tax credit will increase from $3,000 to $10,000. Thank you.
Any questions? Having seen none, we'll move on to committee minutes. Motion is that the Fire, Emergency, and Protective Services Committee confirm the minutes at committee meeting 2-2023 dated November 21st, 2023. A mover? Any questions from the minutes?
Pick for the mover.
Oh, sorry. Councillor Stabalski.
Perfect.
Any questions? Seeing none, all in favor? Passed. So that brings us to the end of our meeting.
Chair McWhirter, do you want to just note the upcoming meeting?
Sorry. Any upcoming, our next meeting will be January 16th, 10 o'clock next year. So we'll see you all next year.
And the meeting is adjourned at 10:19. Thank you.